Welcome to my channel, Bookish English. Have you ever felt stuck in English because you think too much before speaking, and in that moment your mind goes blank while your voice stays silent? What if I tell you the real secret is not learning first, but speaking first, even when you are not ready, even when you are not perfect? Watch this video till the end with me, because I will help you break fear, build confidence, and finally start speaking English in real life, step by step, and comment below. Do you feel afraid to speak English? Chapter 1. The Big Lie. There is a quiet sentence living inside the mind of almost every English learner, and it sounds very logical, very safe, and very responsible. But it is also the reason why so many people stay silent for years. That sentence is this: I need to learn more before I speak. Maybe you have said it to yourself many times. Maybe you have felt it in your heart when someone asked you to speak, and you quickly looked down, smiled, and said, I am still learning. It feels honest, it feels right, but what if this one belief is not helping you? What if it is actually stopping you? Let me tell you a simple story, and I want you to listen carefully because you might see yourself in it. There was a learner, just like you, who started learning English with full motivation. Every day he opened his book, he learned grammar rules, he memorized long lists of words, and he watched videos again and again. He was serious, he was disciplined, he believed he was doing everything right. Weeks passed, then months passed, and even years passed. His knowledge grew. He knew many words, he understood many rules. But when someone asked him a simple question like, "How are you?" his mind became empty, his heart started beating fast, and his mouth refused to open. In that moment, all his learning disappeared, and only fear remained. He told himself, I am not ready yet, I need to learn more. So he went back to his books, back to his videos, back to his safe place. And again, time passed. More words, more rules, more understanding. But still no voice. Do you see what is happening here? This is not a problem of intelligence. This is not a problem of effort. This is something deeper. This is a hidden trap. The pain of this situation is very real. You want to speak, but you cannot. You know something, but you cannot use it. You feel stuck between learning and speaking, and every day you promise yourself, one day I will speak confidently. But that day never comes, because you are waiting for a moment called perfect, and that moment does not exist. The more you wait, the more fear grows. The more you learn without speaking, the heavier your mind becomes. It feels like you are carrying a bag full of words, but you do not know how to use them. And then comes the fear of making mistakes, the fear of people laughing, the fear of saying something wrong. So you stay quiet, and silence becomes your comfort zone. You start believing that silence is safe, but deep inside, you know it is not where you want to stay. You see others speaking, even with broken English, and you wonder, how are they doing it? You compare yourself, and slowly, your confidence goes down. Now here comes the most important question, and I want you to really think about it. What if the problem is not that you do not know enough? What if the real problem is that you are not speaking enough? This question can change everything, because if this is true, then your whole method needs to change. Not later, not someday. Now. Think about how children learn to speak. They do not wait to learn grammar, they do not wait to memorize thousands of words. They speak first. They make mistakes. They say wrong things. Sometimes people do not even understand them. But they keep speaking. And slowly, naturally, their speaking becomes better. Their learning comes from speaking, not before it. But somewhere in our journey we were taught the opposite. We were told to be perfect before speaking. We were told to avoid mistakes. We were told to prepare more and speak less. And this created a big lie, a very powerful lie that feels true, but it is not. The lie is this: learning comes first, speaking comes later. What if everything you believed about this is wrong? What if speaking is not the final step, but the first step? What if fluency is not something you reach after learning, but something you build while speaking? This idea may feel uncomfortable at first, because it challenges everything you have been doing. It may even feel scary, because it asks you to step out of your comfort zone. But it also brings something beautiful: freedom. Because if speaking comes first, then you do not need to wait anymore. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to know everything. You can start now, with what you already have. Let me tell you something very important, something that can change your journey completely. You already know enough to start speaking. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not fluently, but enough to begin, and beginning is everything. Because the moment you start speaking, your brain wakes up in a new way. It starts connecting words. It starts building sentences. It starts learning actively, not passively. The truth is simple, but very powerful. You do not learn English first and then speak. You speak English, and then you learn. I want you to feel this deeply, not just understand it. Because this is not just a method, this is a shift in your identity. You are not someone who is waiting to speak. You are someone who is starting to speak, even if it is slow, even if it is broken, even if it is not perfect. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable in the beginning. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will sometimes feel stuck. But this is not failure. This is progress. This is how real learning looks. Not silent, not perfect, but active, messy, and alive. So today, I want you to question that old belief. The next time your mind says, I need to learn more before I speak, stop for a moment and ask yourself, or do I need to speak more to learn? Because this small question can open a big door, and once that door opens, everything changes. Because speaking is not the result of learning, it is the start of learning. Chapter 2: Speak First Rule. Now let us talk about something that can change your entire English journey, something simple, but very powerful. Something that may feel strange at first, but will slowly start to make sense as you hear it again and again. The rule is this: speak first, learn later. Not learn first, then speak. Not wait, then try. Speak first, learn later. This is not just a sentence. This is a new way of thinking, a new way of learning, and for many people, it becomes the moment where everything finally starts to move. You may be thinking, how can I speak if I do not know enough? That is a very natural question, and almost every learner asks it. But let me ask you something back. When a child starts speaking, does the child know grammar rules? Does the child understand tenses, sentence structure, or vocabulary lists? No, the child does not wait to understand everything. The child listens, then tries, then speaks. The sentences are not perfect. Sometimes they are broken, sometimes they are funny, but they are real, and they are alive. And slowly, through speaking, the child learns. This is how natural learning works. Speaking is not something that comes after learning. Speaking is the thing that creates learning. When you speak, even a little, your brain becomes active. It starts searching for words. It starts building sentences. It starts connecting ideas. This process is very powerful because it is real. You are not just reading or watching. You are using the language. And when you use something, you learn it faster and remember it longer. Imagine this simple situation. You wake up in the morning and instead of thinking in your own language, you try to say something in English. Maybe you say, I wake up. Then you say, I am tired. Then you say, I go to kitchen. These sentences are not perfect, and that is completely okay. What matters is that you are speaking. You are using your voice. You are not waiting. In that moment, your brain is working in English, and that is where real learning begins. Many learners believe that they need to prepare before they speak. But the truth is the opposite. Speaking itself is the preparation. When you try to speak, you discover what you know and what you do not know. You see your gaps clearly, and this is a good thing. Because now, your learning becomes focused and real. Instead of learning everything, you learn what you need. Let me make this even simpler for you. Think of speaking like walking. You do not learn walking by reading about it. You learn walking by trying, falling, standing again, and trying once more. Speaking is the same. You cannot become fluent by only studying. You become fluent by speaking, making mistakes, and improving step by step. Now I want you to do something with me. Not later, not tomorrow, right now. This is your first small action, and it is very easy. I want you to say 3 simple sentences in English. You can say them out loud, or you can whisper them if you feel shy, but I want you to say them. For example, you can say, I am learning English. Then say, I feel a little nervous. Then say, but I will try. Take a moment, say these sentences. Feel them. Do you see what just happened? You spoke. Maybe it felt small. Maybe it felt simple. But it is not small. This is the beginning. This is the moment where you stop being just a learner and start becoming a speaker. And the more you repeat this, the stronger it becomes. You do not need long sentences. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need a big vocabulary. What you need is action. What you need is movement. Because language is not something you store in your mind. It is something you use with your voice. There is also something very important happening inside you when you speak. Your fear starts to break. Slowly, step by step, your mind understands that speaking is not dangerous. It is not something to avoid. It is something you can do. And every time you speak, even a little, your confidence grows. Not in a big, loud way, but in a quiet, steady way that becomes stronger every day. And here is another beautiful truth. When you speak first, learning becomes easier. Because now, your brain is ready. It is active. It is curious. When you hear new words, you connect them to your speaking. When you learn a new sentence, you want to use it. Learning is no longer boring or heavy. It becomes alive, because it is connected to your real use. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you feel ready, because ready is something you create by doing, not something you wait for. Start small, speak simple, repeat often, and slowly, you will see a change that feels natural and real. Let me remind you again, in the simplest way possible, because this idea is important. Speaking is not the final step. Speaking is the first step. You do not need to learn everything before you speak. You need to speak, and then you will learn. And from this moment, I want you to carry one belief with you, a belief that will guide you every day. You do not need permission to speak. You just need courage. Chapter 3, Fear Breaker. There is something that stops more people than grammar, more than vocabulary, and even more than lack of time. And that something is fear. It is quiet, but very powerful. It does not shout, but it controls decisions. It sits inside your mind and whispers, "Do not speak, you might be wrong." And because of this voice, many learners stay silent, even when they know something, even when they want to try, even when the opportunity is right in front of them. Fear comes in many forms. Sometimes it is the fear of making mistakes. You think, what if I say something wrong? Sometimes it is the fear of judgment. You imagine people listening, watching, and maybe even laughing. Sometimes it is the fear of sounding stupid, like your words are not good enough, like your sentences are too simple, like your English is not ready yet. And because of all these fears, you choose silence. It feels safer. It feels easier. But slowly, that silence becomes a habit, and that habit becomes a wall. Let me tell you about someone, and maybe you will see yourself in this story. There was a learner who understood English quite well. He could read, he could listen, he knew many words. But when it came to speaking, everything stopped. In class, he stayed quiet. With friends, he avoided English. Even alone, he did not try. Not because he did not want to, but because he was afraid. Afraid of mistakes. Afraid of how he would sound. Afraid that people would think he is not smart. One day, his teacher asked him a very simple question. Can you tell me about your day? He knew the answer. He had the words. But his heart started beating fast. His mind became heavy. And instead of speaking, he smiled and said, I cannot. That moment passed, but something inside him stayed stuck. He went home and thought about it again and again. Why could I not speak? I knew the answer. The truth was simple, but hard to accept. It was not lack of knowledge, it was fear. Now here is the important part. Fear is normal. It is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you are stepping into something new. Every learner feels it. Even the people who speak well today once felt the same fear. The difference is not that they had no fear. The difference is that they did not let fear stop them. Fear becomes a problem only when you listen to it too much. When fear decides your actions, you stop growing. You stay in the same place, day after day, week after week, and even year after year. And this is why fear is the biggest enemy, not because it exists, but because it controls you if you let it. Now let us break this fear, slowly and clearly, in a way that feels real. The first thing you need to understand is this. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are progress. This idea may sound simple, but it can change everything if you truly believe it. Every time you make a mistake, you are learning something new. You are discovering a gap. You are improving your understanding. Without mistakes, there is no real learning. Think about it like this. When you try to speak and you make a mistake, your brain notices it. It becomes aware. The next time, you try again, and you improve a little. This is how growth happens. Not in silence, not in perfection, but in action, in effort, and yes, in mistakes. Let me give you a strong line that you should remember and repeat to yourself every day. Every mistake is one step closer to fluency, not away from it, closer to it. This means that when you make a mistake, you are moving forward, not backward. This is a powerful shift in thinking, because now mistakes are not something to fear, but something to welcome. Now I want you to do something small, something simple, but very important. Today, I want you to speak one wrong sentence. Yes, one wrong sentence. Not perfect, not correct. Just one sentence. You can say, I go yesterday, or she like coffee, or anything simple. And when you say it, do not feel bad. Do not say sorry. Instead, smile. Because you did something many people are still afraid to do. You spoke. Celebrate that moment. Even if it feels small, it is not small. It is a victory. Because you chose action over fear. You chose growth over comfort. And this is how everything starts to change. You will notice something interesting when you do this. The fear will not disappear in one day, but it will become weaker. Each time you speak, it loses a little power. Each time you try, your confidence grows a little more. And slowly, the balance changes. Fear becomes smaller, and courage becomes bigger. There is also something important you need to remember about people. Most people are not judging you as much as you think. They are busy with their own thoughts, their own worries, their own lives. And even if someone notices your mistake, it is not the end of the world. In fact, many people respect those who try, even if they are not perfect. Trying is powerful. Trying is brave. So do not wait to feel fearless. That day may never come. Instead, act while you are afraid. Speak even when your voice feels a little shaky. Try even when your mind says no. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. And now, let me give you a final thought, something strong that you can carry with you. The fastest learners are not the smartest. They are not the ones who know the most grammar or the most words. The fastest learners are the bravest. They are the ones who speak, who try, who make mistakes, and who keep going. So if you want to move faster, do not try to be perfect. Try to be brave. Chapter 4: Small Sentences. There is another belief that quietly holds many learners back, and it sounds very similar to the one we talked about before. But this time it is about how you speak, not when you speak. Many people believe that they need to use big, perfect sentences to sound good in English. They think that if their sentences are not long, not complex, not impressive, then their English is not strong. Because of this belief, they hesitate. They stop in the middle of speaking. They try to build a perfect sentence in their mind, but by the time they are ready, the moment is gone, and silence returns again. Let me tell you something very important, something that can make speaking easier from today. You do not need big sentences to speak good English. You need simple sentences that you can say quickly, clearly, and confidently. Fluency is not about how long your sentence is. It is about how naturally your words come out of your mouth. And natural speaking always begins with small, simple sentences. Think about your daily life. When you speak in your own language, you do not always use long and complicated sentences. Many times, you speak in short, clear ideas. You say things like, I am tired, I am hungry, I will go now, I like this, I do not understand. These are simple sentences, but they are powerful because they are useful. They help you communicate, and communication is the real goal of language. Now let us bring this into English. Imagine you wake up in the morning. You can say, I am tired. That is a complete sentence. Then you can say, I go to bathroom. It may not be perfect, but it works. Then you say, I make tea. Then I drink tea. These sentences are simple, but they are real. They describe your life. They come from your experience. And because of that, they are easy to remember and easy to repeat. Many learners try to say something like, I am going to the kitchen to prepare a cup of tea because I feel very tired this morning. And while this is a good sentence, it is also heavy for a beginner. It creates pressure. It slows you down. And when you feel slow, you start to feel less confident. But if you break it into small sentences, everything becomes easier. You can say, I am tired, I go to kitchen, I make tea. Now you are speaking, now you are moving, now your confidence is growing. Small sentences give you speed, and speed is very important for confidence. When you can speak without stopping too much, even if your sentences are simple, you feel better, you feel more in control. Your mind becomes lighter. You are not trying to build something perfect. You are just expressing what you feel, step by step. There is also another hidden benefit of small sentences. They help your brain build patterns. When you repeat simple structures again and again, your brain starts to understand how English works naturally. You do not need to think too much. You begin to feel the language. And this feeling is what creates fluency. Let us make this even more practical. Think about your day again. You can talk to yourself using small sentences. When you are walking, you can say, I am walking. When you see something, you can say, I see a car, or I see a man. When you sit down, you can say, I sit here. These are very simple, but they are powerful because you are using English in real time. You are not translating. You are not waiting. You are speaking. Now I want you to do a small practice with me, something very easy, but very effective. Look around you right now. Choose 3 things that you can see. Then say 3 simple sentences about them. For example, you can say, "This is my phone." Then, "This is a table." Then, "I like this chair." Take a moment and do it. Speak slowly, but clearly. When you do this, something important happens. You connect English with your real world. You are not learning from a book, you are learning from your life. And this makes your English stronger, because it becomes part of your daily experience. Now, do not worry if your sentences are not perfect. Remember what we learned before: mistakes are part of progress. If you say, "I go now," instead of "I am going now," it is okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is movement. The goal is to keep speaking, to keep trying, and to keep building your confidence step by step. Repetition is also very important here. When you find a simple sentence, repeat it many times. Say it in the morning. Say it in the afternoon. Say it again at night. For example, "I am learning English." Say it again and again until it feels natural. Then, add another sentence. Then another. Slowly, your collection of sentences will grow, and your fluency will grow with it. And here is something beautiful that will happen if you stay consistent. These small sentences will start connecting. Today, you say, "I am tired. I go home." Tomorrow, you may say, "I am tired, so I go home." Then later, "I am tired because I worked all day, so I go home." Do you see the change? Big sentences come naturally, but they grow from small sentences. They do not appear suddenly. They are built step by step. So stop waiting for perfect sentences. Stop trying to sound advanced before you feel comfortable. Start small. Speak simple. Repeat often. Let your English grow naturally, just like a plant grows from a small seed. And always remember this, because it is the heart of this chapter and one of the most important truths in your journey. Big fluency starts with small sentences. Chapter 5: Daily Talking. Now it is time to bring everything into your real life, because learning English is not something that should stay inside books or videos. It should live with you, move with you, and grow with you every single day. Many learners believe that they cannot practice speaking because they do not have a partner, and this belief becomes another quiet excuse that keeps them stuck. They think, "I will speak when I find someone," or "I need a teacher, I need a friend, I need a group." But what if I tell you something simple and powerful, something that can free you from waiting? You do not need anyone to start speaking. You already have everything you need. You have your voice, and that is enough. At first, this idea may feel strange. Talking to yourself may sound unusual, maybe even a little uncomfortable. But think about it honestly. Do you already talk to yourself in your mind? Yes, you do. You think about your plans, your problems, your day. You ask yourself questions. You answer them. This is natural. Now all you need to do is bring this inner voice out, slowly, gently, and in English. Let us start with your morning, because this is the best time to begin. You wake up, you open your eyes, and instead of thinking in your own language, you try to say something in English. You can say, "I wake up, then I feel sleepy, then I get up now." These are simple sentences, but they are real, and they are yours. You are not copying from a book. You are speaking your life. As you move to the bathroom, you can say, "I brush my teeth," or "I wash my face." It may feel slow at first, and you may need to think a little, but that is okay. This is how the process begins. Now you go to the kitchen. Maybe you are making tea or breakfast. You can say, "I make tea," or "I eat bread," or "This is hot." You can describe what you see, what you feel, what you are doing. These sentences do not need to be perfect. they just need to be spoken. And as you repeat this every day, something beautiful happens. Your brain starts to connect English with your actions. It becomes natural, not forced. As you step outside, the world becomes your classroom. You can talk while walking. You can say, I am walking, or the weather is nice, or I see people. You can describe the road, the cars, the shops, the sky. You are not just walking anymore, you are learning. You are building your English in real time, with real situations. And the best part is that no one needs to be there. You are creating your own learning space, wherever you go. Some people worry that talking alone will not help, but the truth is the opposite. Talking alone is one of the most powerful ways to build fluency because it removes pressure. There is no judgment. There is no interruption. You can speak slowly. You can repeat. You can make mistakes freely. You are in control. This freedom allows you to practice more, and more practice means more improvement. Let me give you another simple moment. You are eating. You can say, I am eating rice, or this food is good, or I like this. You can even ask yourself questions like, do I like this? And then answer, yes, I like this. This may feel like a small game, but it is not just a game. It is training your brain to think and respond in English. It is building a habit. You can also talk to your room. Look around you and describe things. This is my bed. This is my bag. My room is small. My room is clean. These sentences may sound basic, but they are the foundation of your fluency. Without this foundation, big sentences will never feel comfortable. But with this foundation, everything becomes easier. Now I want you to feel something deeper. When you start talking to yourself, you are not alone. You are building a relationship with your own voice. You are becoming your own speaking partner. This is a powerful feeling, because it removes the need to depend on others. You are no longer waiting for someone to help you. You are helping yourself. And this independence gives you strength. There will be moments when you feel shy, even when you are alone. Your mind may say, this is strange, or this is not normal. But remember, learning something new always feels different at first. What matters is not how it feels in the beginning, but where it takes you. And this habit will take you to confidence, to fluency, and to freedom. You can also make it fun. You can create small conversations with yourself. You can ask, what will I do today? And then answer, I will study, I will work, I will rest. You can imagine situations. You can pretend you are talking to a friend. The more you play with the language, the more comfortable you become. And here is something very important. Consistency is the key. You do not need to speak for hours. Even 5 to 10 minutes of daily talking can create a big change over time. What matters is that you do it every day. Slowly, your sentences will become smoother. Your thinking will become faster. Your fear will become smaller. One day, you will notice something surprising. You will be in a real conversation, and words will come out more easily. You will not feel as stuck as before. You will not feel as afraid. And you will realize that all those moments of talking alone were not small. They were preparing you. They were building you. So do not wait for the perfect partner. Do not wait for the perfect situation. Start with yourself. Speak in your room. Speak while walking. Speak while eating. Speak while living your life. Because English is not something outside you. It is something you can bring into your world, step by step, word by word. And always remember this powerful truth, because it can change how you see everything. You are never alone. You always have your voice. And if you can speak alone, you can speak anywhere. Chapter 6. Think in English. Now we move to something that quietly controls your speaking speed, your confidence, and even your comfort while using English. And that is the way you think. Many learners do not notice this, but the real delay in speaking does not happen in the mouth. it happens in the mind. You think in your own language first, then you try to translate into English, and only after that you try to speak. This process takes time, and while you are thinking, the moment is already moving forward. The conversation continues, but you are still inside your head, trying to find the right words. This is why speaking feels slow and heavy. It is not because you do not know English. It is because your brain is working in two languages at the same time. First, your native language, then English. This double work creates pressure, confusion, and hesitation, and slowly, it becomes a habit that feels normal, but it is not helping you. Now imagine something different. Imagine you see your phone, and instead of thinking in your own language and then translating, you directly say in English, "This is my phone." No translation, no waiting, just a direct connection between what you see and what you say. This is what it means to think in English. It is not about knowing everything. It is about creating a simple, direct link between your thoughts and your words. When you think in English, your speaking becomes faster because there is no extra step. Your brain does not stop to translate, it moves directly to expression. This makes your sentences feel more natural, even if they are simple. And as we learned before, simple sentences are enough to build strong fluency. Let us take another example. You are walking outside. If you think in your own language, your mind may say something, and then you try to convert it into English. But if you train yourself to think directly in English, you can simply say, "I am walking," then, "I see a car," then, "The weather is nice." These are not big sentences, but they are immediate. They come without delay, and this speed builds confidence. At first, this may feel difficult, because your mind is used to translating. It has been doing this for a long time. But like any habit, it can change with practice. You do not need to stop thinking in your own language completely. That will happen slowly. What you need to do is create small moments where you think in English on purpose. Start with very simple things. Look around you and name what you see. This is a chair. This is a window. This is my bag. Do not think too much. Do not try to be perfect. Just say what you see. This is the first step. Then move to actions. When you are doing something, say it. I am sitting. I am eating. I am writing. These small thoughts are powerful because they train your brain to connect directly with English. Now I want you to do a small exercise with me, something easy but very effective. Look at your room right now. Take a moment and observe it. Then start describing it in English. You can say, "This is my room." Then, "My room is small," or "My room is big." Then, "I see a table." "I see a chair." "My bed is here." Speak slowly but clearly. You do not need to rush. The goal is not speed at the beginning. The goal is connection. As you do this exercise, you may notice that sometimes you do not know a word. That is completely okay. Do not stop. Use simple words that you already know. If you do not know the exact word, describe it in another way. For example, if you do not know the word for something, you can say, "This is a thing," or "I use this." The important thing is to keep thinking and speaking, not to become silent again. This process may feel simple, but it is very powerful. Every time you think in English, you are building a new habit. You are training your brain to respond faster. You are reducing the time between thought and speech. And slowly, you will feel a change. You will feel less stuck. You will feel more ready to speak, because your mind is already working in English. There is also a deeper benefit. When you think in English, you start to feel the language, not just understand it. It becomes part of your daily life. It is no longer something you use only when you study. It becomes something you use when you live. This makes your learning more natural and more enjoyable. You do not need to think in long sentences. You do not need to be perfect. Just start with small, simple thoughts. Repeat them every day. Use them in different situations. And slowly, your thinking will become smoother, your speaking will become faster, and your confidence will grow. Remember, this is a process. It will not change in one day, but if you stay consistent, you will see results. You will notice that you do not need to translate as much. You will notice that words come to your mind more quickly, and you will feel more comfortable using English in real situations. So from today, try to catch your thoughts. When you are about to think something, pause for a moment and try to think it in English. Even if it is simple, even if it is not perfect, just try. This small effort can create a big change over time, and always keep this powerful idea in your mind, because it is the key to faster speaking and real fluency. When you think in English, you stop waiting. You start speaking. Chapter 7. Mistake Power. There is one thing that most learners try to avoid. Something they hide from. Something they feel ashamed of. And that thing is mistakes. The moment a mistake happens, many people stop, feel embarrassed, and think, I am not good at English. But what if everything you feel about mistakes is wrong? What if mistakes are not your weakness but your greatest strength? This idea may feel surprising at first, but if you truly understand it, your entire learning journey will change. Let us start with a simple truth. Every person who speaks English fluently today has made thousands of mistakes in the past. Not a few mistakes. Thousands. They said wrong sentences. They used wrong words. They mixed grammar. They sounded strange. But they did not stop. They kept speaking. And through those mistakes they improved. This is the real path to fluency. Not a clean, perfect road, but a messy, active journey full of small corrections and continuous growth. Now let us look at a few simple examples, because this is where learning becomes clear. A learner may say, I go yesterday. This sentence is not correct, but it shows something important. The learner is trying to talk about the past. The idea is there, even if the form is not perfect. Now, after speaking, the learner can learn the correct form. I went yesterday. Do you see what happened? The mistake created a learning moment. Without that mistake, there would be no need to learn, no reason to correct, no real progress. Another learner may say, she liked coffee. Again, this is not correct, but it shows effort. It shows that the learner is using English. Then, with time and correction, the learner understands, she likes coffee. The small change becomes clear because the learner already tried. Speaking created the need for learning, and learning became meaningful because it was connected to real use. This is why mistakes are powerful. They are not random. They are signals. They show you where you need to improve. They guide your learning. If you never speak, you never see your mistakes. And if you never see your mistakes, you do not grow. Silence may feel safe, but it hides your progress. Speaking may feel uncomfortable, but it reveals your path. Now let us talk about something emotional, something many learners carry inside them: shame. That heavy feeling when you make a mistake and think, people will laugh at me, or I sound stupid, or I should not speak like this. This feeling is very common, but it is also very harmful, because shame stops action. It makes you quiet. It makes you avoid speaking. And when you avoid speaking, you stop improving. But let me tell you something clearly, and I want you to remember this. Making a mistake does not make you less intelligent. It does not make you weak. It makes you human. And more than that, it makes you a learner who is trying, who is moving forward, who is doing something real. You do not need to feel ashamed of your mistakes. You need to understand them, accept them, and use them. This is a big shift. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, I feel bad, you can say, I made a mistake, I am learning. This one change in thinking can remove a lot of fear and pressure. Now let us bring this back to your daily practice. When you speak, do not stop yourself because you are not sure. Speak anyway. Say the sentence, even if you feel it may be wrong. Let it come out. Then, later, you can check it, correct it, or learn the better form. But do not stop the speaking. Speaking comes first. Correction comes later. Think of it like drawing. When you first draw something, it is not perfect. The lines may be wrong. The shape may not look right. But you do not stop drawing. You continue, and with practice, your drawing improves. Speaking is the same. You do not wait to be perfect. You become better by doing. There is also something very important happening inside your brain when you make mistakes. Your brain becomes more alert. It pays attention. It remembers the correction more strongly because it is connected to your own experience. This is why learning through mistakes is more effective than learning without action. So instead of avoiding mistakes, I want you to change your relationship with them. Welcome them. Expect them. Even look for them. Because every mistake is a step forward, not backward. Every mistake brings you closer to clarity, closer to confidence, and closer to fluency. You can even make this a habit. When you notice a mistake, do not feel bad. Smile and say, "This is my learning moment." Then try again. Say the sentence one more time, maybe a little better. This creates a positive cycle. You speak, you make a mistake, you learn, you improve, and then you speak again. And here is something very powerful. The more mistakes you make, the faster you improve. Not because mistakes are the goal, but because action is the goal. And mistakes are part of action. The people who improve slowly are often the ones who try to avoid mistakes. They stay quiet. They wait. They think too much. But the people who improve quickly are the ones who speak, who try, who are not afraid to be wrong. So do not measure your progress by how perfect your sentences are. Measure it by how often you speak, how often you try, and how willing you are to make mistakes. Because this is what builds real fluency. From today, I want you to remove shame from your learning. Replace it with curiosity. When you make a mistake, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? When you speak, do it with courage, not with fear. And when you improve, celebrate it, even if it is small. Because in this journey, mistakes are not your enemy. They are your guides. They show you the way forward. They help you grow. They make you stronger. And always remember this, because it is one of the most important truths you will ever learn in this journey. Your mistakes are your teachers. Chapter 8. Repeat magic. Now we come to something that looks very simple from the outside. But inside, it is one of the most powerful tools you can use to build your English. Many learners ignore it because it feels too easy, or sometimes even boring. But those who understand it use it like a secret weapon. This tool is repetition. Not just saying something once, not just understanding it and moving on, but repeating the same sentence again and again, until it becomes natural, until it feels like part of you. Let me explain this in a very simple way. When you say a sentence one time, your brain understands it, but it does not remember it deeply. It is like writing on water. It appears for a moment, and then it disappears. But when you repeat the same sentence many times, something different happens. Your brain starts to store it. It becomes stronger. It becomes faster. It becomes automatic. This is what we call muscle memory, not in your body, but in your mind. Think about how you learn to do simple things in life, maybe riding a bicycle, or writing your name, or even tying your shoes. You did not learn these things by doing them once. You repeated them again and again. At first, it felt difficult. Then it became easier. And finally, it became automatic. You do not think about it anymore. You just do it. This is exactly how repetition works in language. Now let us bring this into English. Take a very simple sentence, something you already know, like I am learning English. Say it one time. It feels easy. Now say it again, and again, and again. Try to say it 10 times, but do not say it like a robot. Say it with feeling. Say it with a little energy. Maybe the first time you say it slowly, then a little faster, then with more confidence. Each time you repeat, you are not just saying words, you are building a habit. At first, it may feel strange. You may think, why am I saying the same thing again and again? But if you continue, you will notice a change. The sentence starts to feel smoother. Your mouth moves more easily. Your mind does not need to search for words, it just knows. This is the magic of repetition. It turns something new into something natural. Let us try another example. You can take a sentence like, I go to work every day. Say it once, then say it again, then again. You can change your tone. You can say it like you are happy, then like you are tired, then like you are excited. This makes repetition more interesting, more alive. It becomes a small game, not a boring task. And this is very important. Repetition does not have to be boring. You can play with it. You can repeat sentences while walking, while looking in the mirror, or even while doing small daily tasks. You can repeat sentences about your life, about your feelings, about your plans. The more personal the sentence is, the more powerful it becomes, because it connects with your real experience. Now think about your daily routine again. You wake up and say, I am tired. Repeat it a few times. Then, I get up now. Repeat it again. Then I make tea. Repeat it again. These are not just sentences. They are your life. And when you repeat them every day, they become part of your thinking and speaking. There is also a deeper benefit of repetition. It builds confidence. When you say a sentence one time, you may feel unsure. When you say it 5 times, you feel a little better. When you say it 10 times, you feel strong. You feel like you own that sentence. And this feeling is very important, because confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build through action. Many learners try to learn many new sentences every day, but they do not repeat them enough, so they forget quickly. It is better to take a few simple sentences and repeat them many times than to learn many sentences and use none of them. Depth is more important than quantity. When you know a sentence deeply, you can use it anytime, anywhere. You can also create a small habit. Choose 3 to 5 sentences every day. Repeat each sentence 10 times. Do it in the morning, or in the evening, or whenever you have time. It does not need to be long. Even 5 minutes of focused repetition can create a big change over time. The key is consistency. And here is something very interesting. As you repeat sentences, your brain starts to notice patterns. It begins to understand how sentences are formed. Without studying grammar rules, you start to feel what sounds right and what sounds wrong. This is natural learning. This is how fluency grows from inside. So do not underestimate repetition. Do not think it is too simple. Sometimes, the most powerful tools are the simplest ones. What matters is not how complex your method is, but how consistent your action is. From today, start using repetition as your daily practice. Choose simple sentences. Repeat them with feeling. Make it a habit. Make it fun. And slowly, you will see a change in your speaking. Your words will come faster. Your sentences will feel stronger. Your confidence will grow naturally. And always remember this powerful truth, because it captures the heart of this method and the strength of your practice. Repetition turns weak words into strong confidence. Chapter 9: Real Life English. Now we come to one of the most important shifts in your entire journey, and this shift is simple, but it changes everything. English is not just a subject that you study for some time and then close like a book. It is not only something that lives inside lessons, exercises, or grammar rules. English is a living language, and if you want to truly learn it, you must bring it into your life. Not later, not when you feel ready, but now, in your daily moments, in your small actions, and in your real experiences. Many learners keep English separate from their lives. They say, "Now I study English," and after that, they go back to their normal life without using it. This creates a gap. You learn something, but you do not use it. And when you do not use something, it becomes weak, it fades away, and it feels difficult again the next time you try. But when you connect English with your life, something powerful happens. The language becomes useful. It becomes natural. It becomes part of who you are. Let us look at simple, real situations, because this is where learning becomes alive. Imagine you go to a shop. Even if you are not speaking to someone in English, you can still practice in your mind, or softly with your voice. You can say, "I want to buy this," or "This is expensive," or "I like this one." These are simple sentences, but they connect English to your real experience. You are not imagining, you are living it. Now think about when you are walking outside. You see people, cars, shops, and many things around you. Instead of just looking, you can describe what you see in English. You can say, "There are many people," or "The road is busy," or "I see a red car." These sentences are not difficult, but they are powerful because they are real. They come from your world, not from a book. When you are at home, you can do the same. You can talk about your actions, your thoughts, and even your feelings. You can say, "I feel tired today," or "I am happy," or "I want to rest." You can talk about your plans, like "I will study," or "I will go out," or "I will call my friend." These are everyday thoughts. But when you express them in English, you are training your brain to live in the language. There is also something very important about feelings. Language is not only for describing things, it is also for expressing emotions. When you say, "I feel good," or "I am worried," or "I am excited," you are using English in a deeper way. You are not just learning words, you are connecting with the language on a human level. And this connection makes your English stronger and more meaningful. Let us take another simple situation. You are eating. You can say, "This food is delicious," or "This is too hot," or "I like this taste." You can describe your experience. You can even ask yourself questions, like, "Do I like this?" and answer, "Yes, I like this," or "No, I do not like this." This may feel like a small activity, but it builds your ability to think and respond in English. Now think about conversations. Even if you are not speaking with another person, you can create small conversations in your mind or with yourself. For example, you can imagine someone asking, "What did you do today?" and you answer, "I worked, I studied, and I rested." This practice prepares you for real situations. When the moment comes, you will not feel completely new. You will feel familiar because you have already practiced. The goal here is not to make your life complicated. The goal is to use simple English in your normal routine. You do not need special time. You do not need special tools. You just need awareness. You need to notice your actions and turn them into English sentences. At first, this may feel slow. You may need to think a little. But with time, it becomes easier. Your brain starts to connect English with your daily life automatically. You do not need to force it. It starts to happen naturally. There is also a big emotional benefit in this approach. When you use English in real life, you stop feeling like a beginner who is always learning. You start feeling like a user of the language. This changes your identity. You are no longer someone who is waiting to become fluent. You are someone who is already using English, step by step. And this is very important, because confidence grows from use, not from knowledge. The more you use English in your real life, the more comfortable you feel. The more comfortable you feel, the more you speak. And the more you speak, the better you become. This creates a positive cycle that keeps moving forward. So from today, stop separating English from your life. Bring it into your day. Use it when you wake up, when you eat, when you walk, when you think, and when you feel. Use simple sentences. Repeat them. Connect them to your real world. And always remember this powerful shift, because it is the key to everything you are building. Do not learn English. Live English. Chapter 10. Confidence Growth. Now I want you to see something clearly, something that many learners do not notice until it happens to them. Confidence is not something you find at the beginning of your journey. It is something you build along the way, slowly, quietly, step by step. Many people wait to feel confident before they speak, but this waiting becomes a long pause that never ends. They tell themselves, I will speak when I feel ready, but ready never arrives, because confidence is not a starting point. It is a result. Let me take you into a simple story, a journey that may feel very close to your own. There was a learner who was afraid to speak, not because he did not want to, but because every time he tried, his mind became heavy. He thought about grammar, about words, about mistakes, and all these thoughts made him silent. He believed that one day he would feel confident, and then he would start speaking. But that day did not come. Then something changed. Not a big change, not something dramatic, but a small decision. One day, he decided to say just one sentence. Only one. It was simple. I am learning English. His voice was not strong. His pronunciation was not perfect. But he said it. That moment was small, but it was real. And after he said it, something inside him shifted. He did not become confident immediately, but he felt a little lighter. The next day, he said two sentences. I am learning English. I feel nervous. Again, it was not perfect, but it was progress. He started to see that speaking was possible. Not easy, not smooth, but possible. And this idea gave him a little more courage. As days passed, he continued. Sometimes he spoke one sentence, sometimes three, sometimes more. Some days were better than others. Some days he felt strong, and some days he felt unsure. But he did not stop. And slowly, very slowly, his voice started to change. It became clearer. It became more natural. Not because he waited for confidence, but because he practiced speaking. This is how transformation happens. Not in one big moment, but in many small moments. Each sentence you speak is a step forward. Each attempt, even if it feels weak, is part of your growth. And when you look back after some time, you will see a difference. You will see that the person who could not speak at all is now speaking a little. And that little becomes more. Let me show you how this growth looks in real life. First, you say one sentence. Then you feel, okay, I can do this. Then you say two sentences, and you feel a little more comfortable. Then you start to connect sentences. I am tired, so I will rest. Now your speaking is growing. You are not thinking too much. You are just expressing your ideas. Then one day, you find yourself speaking without stopping for a few seconds. It may not be perfect, but it flows. And in that moment, you realize something important. You are not the same person anymore. You have changed. Not suddenly, but gradually. This is the beauty of confidence. It grows quietly. You do not always notice it while it is happening, but it is there, building inside you with every small effort you make. Now I want you to imagine your future self. Close your eyes for a moment and think about it. Imagine yourself speaking English without fear. You are not perfect, but you are comfortable. You can express your thoughts. You can answer simple questions. You can have small conversations. You are not silent anymore. You are active. You are present. How did you reach that point? Not by waiting. Not by avoiding mistakes. Not by staying in your comfort zone. You reached it by speaking, again and again, even when it felt difficult, even when it felt uncomfortable. And here is something very important to understand. Confidence is not about being perfect. It is about being comfortable with imperfection. It is about knowing that you may make mistakes, but you will still speak. It is about trusting yourself, even when your sentences are not complete, even when your words are simple. Many learners think that confident speakers are people who never make mistakes. But this is not true. Confident speakers are people who are not afraid of mistakes. They speak, they adjust, they continue. They do not stop themselves. So if you want to grow your confidence, do not focus on being perfect. Focus on being consistent. Speak every day, even a little. Celebrate small wins. If you say one sentence today, that is a win. If you say two tomorrow, that is another win. These small wins build something strong inside you. There will be moments when you feel stuck again. There will be days when speaking feels difficult. This is normal. Growth is not always smooth. But what matters is that you continue. You do not go back to silence. You keep moving, even if it is slow. And one day, you will notice something surprising. You will speak without thinking too much. Words will come more easily. You will feel more relaxed. And in that moment, you will understand something deeply. Confidence did not come before speaking. It came because you kept speaking. So do not wait for confidence. Do not search for it. Build it. Create it with your actions, with your voice, with your daily practice. And always remember this powerful truth, because it can guide you every day of your journey. Confidence does not come before speaking, it comes after speaking. Chapter 11. Start now. Now we come to the most important moment of your journey. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, but right now. Because everything you have heard until this point has one purpose, and that purpose is action. You have learned that speaking comes first, that mistakes are part of progress, that small sentences are enough, that you can talk every day, that you can think in English, and that repetition builds strength. But all of this means nothing if it stays inside your mind. It must come out through your voice. This is the moment where everything connects. This is where you stop collecting ideas and start using them. Because the truth is simple, and it is very powerful. You do not need more time to start. You do not need more knowledge to begin. You do not need perfect grammar or a big vocabulary. You already have enough. What you need now is a decision. Let me bring everything together in one clear idea. Something you can carry with you every day. Speak first, learn later. This is your method. This is your path. This is your new way of learning English. Not waiting, not overthinking, not preparing forever, but speaking, trying, repeating, and growing. Now I want to give you a simple plan. Something very easy. Something you can do today, without pressure, without stress, but with real impact. Today, speak 5 sentences. Only 5. Not 50, not 20, just 5. You can say, I am learning English. Then, I feel a little nervous. Then, I will try today. Then, I am sitting here. Then, I want to improve. These sentences are simple, but they are enough. They are your starting point. When you say these sentences, do not rush. Say them slowly. Feel them. Let your voice carry them. And when you finish, take a moment and notice something inside you. You spoke. You did not wait. You did not stop. You did something real. Tomorrow, you take the next step. Speak 10 sentences. Again, keep them simple. Talk about your day. Talk about what you see. Talk about what you feel. You can say, I wake up early. I drink tea. I go outside. The weather is nice. I feel better today. These are small steps, but they are building something strong inside you. You do not need to make this complicated. You do not need a perfect plan. What you need is consistency. A small action, repeated every day, creates a big result over time. 5 sentences today, 10 tomorrow, then maybe a little more. Slowly, naturally, your speaking will grow. There will be moments when your mind tries to stop you. It will say, this is too simple, or this is not enough, or I need to learn more first. When this happens, remember what you learned in this journey. Simple is powerful. Action is more important than perfection. Speaking is the beginning, not the end. You may also feel uncomfortable at times. That is normal. Starting something new always feels different. But do not let that feeling stop you. Move with it. Speak with it. Because every time you act, you become stronger. Let me remind you of something important. You are not alone in this journey. Every fluent speaker started from a place of uncertainty. They also felt nervous. They also made mistakes. But they did one thing that changed everything. They started. Now it is your turn. I want you to see yourself differently from this moment. Not as someone who is trying to learn English someday, but as someone who is already using English today. This is a powerful shift, because when your identity changes, your actions follow. You are not waiting anymore. You are not preparing forever. You are moving. You are speaking. You are building your fluency step by step, sentence by sentence, day by day, and one day, you will look back and realize how far you have come. You will remember the moment you started, the moment you said your first sentences, the moment you decided to act, and you will feel proud, because you did not give up. You did not stay silent. You did not wait. So do not delay this moment. Do not push it to later. Take a breath, open your mouth, and speak your first sentence right now. Then another. Then another. Let your journey begin today, not in your mind, but in your voice, because from this moment, everything changes. You are not a learner anymore. You are a speaker. If you feel something changed inside you today, don't wait. Start speaking now. Comment below your first English sentence. I will read it. Like this video, share it with a friend who is afraid to speak, and subscribe to this channel because here, we don't just learn English, we live it.